What's up, brothers? Hope everyone's doing well out there. I'm out here chilling on a nice, cool fall November evening on a Friday night. It's about 6:30, and I figured I'll turn the camera on and I'll come out here and I'll shoot this shit with you guys. And of course, as soon as I started, one of the neighbors fired up the leaf blower. So, I suppose it's going to be another one of those videos. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about in tonight's video is why being sweet doesn't work with women. I guess the reason why I wanted to make this is because I'd say a good 90% of guys out there that reach out for dating advice are going through a problem that goes a little something like this. The girl I've been seeing isn't responding to my texts. She's not calling me back. She doesn't have a lot of free time for me anymore. You know, she used to be really into me. It seemed like I was that guy. What happened? You know, I'm trying to figure out where I went wrong. And when we go and look into the history of what's been going on, they tend to all have one thing in common, and that is that they've been really sweet to that girl. They've just been really sweet. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you've ever experienced anything like that, or if you think you may experience something like that in the near future, then maybe this video is for you. Now, first of all, I want to open up by saying, I'm sure you've heard the term women make rules for betas and break rules for alphas. Some people think it's just a little bullshit term. Some people believe that it's true. Well, it's true, but most people misunderstand what it means because most people view alpha males and beta males as characteristics or archetypes or phenotypes. That's not what people mean when they say alpha male and beta male. They're not even talking about you or men in general. Alpha male and beta male are treatments. They're like achievements. You're either receiving alpha male treatment or you're receiving beta male treatment. Okay, that's what it means. You're either receiving alpha male treatment, which means she drops whatever she's doing to come and see you. She does whatever you want. She's all about you. She loves to please you and she gets excited about doing it. Or you're getting beta male treatment. She never really has time for you. You know, you gotta operate under her set of rules. You want to go out on Friday, but she's busy going out with her friends. But maybe you can take her out on Wednesday and do something she wants to do. Right? It could even be something sexual. You ever called a woman up, and I guess I'll get a little vulgar here, but you know, you say something like maybe you want some head or something, right? So you call her up and you try to arrange something like that. Well, alpha male treatment would be, hell yes, she's going to come over and do it. Beta male treatment would be something like, oh hell no, you're going to do it to me. I'm not going to do it to you. I better get something out of this. You know, she's more worried about making rules for you to get what she wants. Right, now what causes this dynamic to take place? And that's where we're getting into being sweet. And what causes that to be the case? See, when a man becomes emotionally invested, I should say, or when a man starts to catch feelings for a woman, he has a natural inclination to be sweet. And it's not because he's a gentleman, it's not because he's a nice guy, it's not because he's a good man. It's because when he catches feelings, he gets weak, he gets docile. And being nice is really the only move he has. He can't muster up the testosterone to be confident and be cocky anymore. There's something about oxytocin that does that to a man. And none of us are exempt from it. It can happen to any of us. This is where the term kill the beta comes from. It's recognizing that that takes place and overcoming it. I knew a friend, I wouldn't call him a friend, but I knew a guy that was seeing this girl. I wouldn't call him a real relationship. I would call this it's a fucking train wreck. But she used to date one of my buddies. Her ex-boyfriend was one of my buddies. So she'd come along with us, we'd hang out, we'd go out and party and shit. But she was seeing this new guy after her and my buddy broke up. And I would still talk with her from time to time. Come to find out, he was going over to her place for sexual encounters. And she had a bunch of toys that he'd use on her. So she'd never even get him off. He'd never even pull his little wanker out. It would always be him using toys on her, like they'd make out and he'd use toys on her and shit. So they were seeing each other for a good year or so, and that's what he was doing. That's a gross exaggeration of beta male treatment, but it happens. You know, alpha male treatment is she'll just drop whatever she's doing to come over and please you because she's so excited by you. Now here's the thing. You ever seen have you ever caught feelings for a woman that were kind of extreme and it made you weak? And, you know, you get soft and you get weak like that, and you just naturally start being sweet and you get those results. Well, think about it on the other side. Think about what happens when a woman is catching feelings for a man. Or think about it when a woman is thirsty for a man. You know, take a lady in the front row of a concert ripping her shirt off, screaming at the top of her lungs, wanting to be with the guy. You know, well, that's an example of a woman that's excited for a man. You know, when a woman is excited for a man, it's like she gets hyper. She gets a burst of energy. It's the opposite of when a man gets excited for a woman. You know, she has like a burst of energy where the man gets weak and docile. Strange, but it's the opposite, right? So, when you're weak and you're docile and you're sweet, you're creating an environment where she has all the control, right? When you're being sweet, she's comfortable, she feels like she's in charge, she's in control. What's a woman going to do when she's in control? What's anyone going to do when they're in control? They're going to start making rules so they don't lose control. Okay, that's where making rules for the beta comes from. Now, what's a woman do when she's excited? When she's turned on? When she's the one that's caught feelings? Well, now she starts breaking rules for the alpha. Okay? It's not the man, it's the treatment the man receives. He receives alpha male treatment or beta male treatment. So anytime you're in an interaction with a woman, right? You don't have to be like a spurg about it. You don't have to overanalyze shit and overthink about these things. But sit back and just think, well, am I getting alpha male treatment or am I getting beta male treatment? Okay, when I tell her to come over, does she laugh at me and say, no, I'm busy? Or does she drop what she's doing to come over and see me? You know, you kind of have to evaluate what type of a situation you're in. And if you're getting beta male treatment, that means she's not excited by you. Now, how do you get a woman excited? A lot of it, you could say, is kind of luck of the draw. Is there chemistry there? You know, is she attracted to the way you look? But some of it has to do with your behavior, for sure. Anytime you're in doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could be a business partnership. It could be you and your friends. Anytime you're in a social interaction, somebody is going to try to establish dominance. And when they establish dominance, the other person has to submit. And that's the dynamic that takes place. So in a relationship, a man needs to establish dominance. And you do this by, and a lot of pickup artists will use all these terms, display high value, leader of men, whatever, all these different terms that they use. But what they're doing is they're mimicking the behavior of naturals. And naturals have these dominant characteristics. And they know what they want. They go for it. If they're not getting it, they leave the situation. Right? They don't accept a submissive role. And that's the first step that you need to understand. And the way you communicate as a man with women needs to be very direct. You have things that you're into. You have a certain personality. You have things that you want to accomplish in a relationship, in your own life. You have expectations from a woman. And you have to, put it to work and make it happen. And if it's not happening, then not every woman is fit to be with you. Sometimes you got to let them go. It's just the way it is. But even the most dominant alpha male in the world understands that he has to let women go. But the difference between the alpha male and the beta male is the beta male sticks around and he accepts that submissive role. And no one knows why, but some guys just do that. I don't know. Some people are into that shit. Some couples are like that. A woman comes in the room in a leather daddy outfit with a bullwhip in her hand and pegs him, cuckolds him, does all kinds of weird shit to him. Some couples are like that. I don't know. It's not my thing. But if you're a regular guy out there and you're like me and you don't want to be treated like that, and you don't want to be dumped and taken advantage of and everything else in the book that can possibly go wrong, you got to learn to adopt that mindset. I think we went over quite a bit in this video, but I'm not quite sure if I got the solution across quite the way I want to. Have you ever heard of the term chaotic neutral? I think it's a term that comes from gaming or something. I don't need these sunglasses anymore. It's getting pretty dark. I think it comes from gaming. All right. I don't know what game. I don't play games. But it can also be used in politics. And it can also be used in social interactions. What it means is you don't necessarily care what's right or wrong. What you care about is what you want to accomplish, what you believe in, and you stay on that line. Okay? When you stay on that line, women can come, women can go. Women can give you the alpha treatment. They can go, however you want to put it. But you're going to stay on that line. Okay? And when a woman feels like she can trust you being in control, you got to think, if the two of you get together and you start a family, you're the husband, the father, you have to be a man that can take charge, right? This is considered like a taboo talk in 2024, but when I was in high school, if you were to ask any woman, or when I was 21, if you were to ask any woman what they find attractive in a man personality-wise, they would all say they want a man that takes charge. It's sexy when he does that. That's what they like in the bedroom. That's what they like on dates. That's what they like in relationships. Well, how does a man take charge? Well, the first step is he needs to understand what he wants and what he wants to accomplish. When a woman gets with you, she takes on your last name. Her children take on your last name. Her children look like you. Her offspring are your blood, your bloodline, your family crest. If you're not a man that can be in control of all of that and lead all of that based on whatever your chaotic neutral plans are, instinctively women are going to see you as weak. Beta treatment. Okay? Guys that get alpha treatment all have that one thing in common. They have that natural trait, that natural dominant trait, or some pickup artists don't have a natural dominant trait, they have a learned dominant trait. So it's not actually a dominant trait, but they're still applying the principles of a natural that does have dominant traits. Most guys out there, I believe, possess that dominant trait. They just don't understand how to unlock it because they're always catching feelings, getting emotional, getting docile, getting weak. So evaluate your own situations. Think about what's going on. Think about the things you have control over. You know, are you following rules? Are rules being set for you and you're going along with it? Well, if you're already in that stage, if that's the dynamic that's already been set, it's going to be very difficult for you to break that dynamic because that's the frame that's been established. Those are the boundaries that have been established. Might be best to just move along. But, or maybe no contact for a few weeks, a few months. And when you come back, you got to learn to take charge. A lot of women, you know, maybe they've heard that it's like it makes you an asshole or controlling or, you know, a bad guy if you're taking charge. But instinctively, hormonally, they know that they're attracted to a man that takes charge. So when they do come back, start taking charge. You need to learn to communicate, like telling her to meet you somewhere. If she doesn't, cool. If she does, cool. But you have to do things on your own terms. You know, you have to learn to start doing it that way. And that's how you get the alpha treatment. That's how you learn to get a lady excited. You know, she feels like, you know, you've got that big daddy energy. All right, guys. I'll go ahead and shut this one off. But I hope this video was somewhat informative. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.